I don't want to work anymore. And now everyone who's not going to watch the full video can go comment about how lazy I am, how lazy my generation is, and how we just don't want to work anymore. And now for those that are still here, I will explain what we mean by that. I do want to work. If I didn't work, I think I would honestly probably get so bored that I would just want to off myself. Like, most of us want to work. It helps give you purpose. It helps give you something to do. Hopefully you do something you're passionate about. Luckily for me, I do something I'm passionate about. So I genuinely like my job. But the problem is the purpose of a job is supposed to pay for you to be able to afford to live. And that's just not the case anymore. People in my generation who went to college, who did everything they were supposed to do, worked hard in school, went to a good college, graduated with their degree, yada yada, got their first job, and they can't afford to live. And we're working 40 to 60 hours a week, like on average, and we cannot afford to live. Like, we just do not make enough to pay rent, to pay for food. Everything is so expensive right now, and wages are not keeping up with the cost of living. So we are working full time, giving up a huge portion of our lives to work, and we can't even afford to live. That is why my generation is frustrated. That is why we don't want to work anymore. Because we work really hard, and we still can't afford to even get by. So, like, what's the point? We can't afford to save. We can't afford to buy things we want. We can't afford to go out and do fun things. We can barely afford to pay our rent and buy food. A lot of us have like 2 or 3 jobs, or like work a full-time job and have several side hustles. That is the case for me. And then older generations just look at us and they're like, you're not working hard enough. This is your fault. Like, you're not working hard enough. That's why you can't get... The reason we can't get by is because the cost of living since the 90s has gone up 67%, while the wages have only gone up 18%. So wages have not kept up with the cost of living. That is why we can't afford to live. Not because we're lazy, not because we don't work, not because we don't want to work anymore. That is why. That is all. We're also in extreme debt because everything is so much more expensive than it used to be. College is way more expensive than it used to be. Cars are way more expensive than they used to be. Housing, way more expensive than it used to be. And on top of all that, politicians and older generations are destroying our environment, not doing anything to protect it, so we don't even know that there'll be a habitable Earth when we're older to live in. So yeah, that makes us pretty pessimistic and nihilistic and not want to work.
Oh, it's so cold in here. Don't you dare! Do you want to go to prison? Do you want to get done? What now, Dad? Well, don't act as if you don't know. Sleep tax. Have you not been keeping up with the news? No. We get charged for every night we sleep. Is this some kind of joke? So keep your eyes open. I literally can't do anything anymore. Come on. Whoa, stop right there. I wouldn't if I was you. Oh, let me guess. Opening door tax. No, don't be silly. Smoking tax. Every step outside your own home is 50p. So what's next? Breathing tax. Shh. Don't give them any ideas. I think they're watching.
So I've decided my new measure for inflation is Krispy Kreme donuts. So you used to be able to get this for £10.99. Look at this fucking price. What the hell?
This is not okay. I just spent $74, and what I got is ridiculous. This is what's going on in Canada. I'm pretty sure it's happening everywhere else. How the hell are people living? 2 packs of ground beef, 2 packs of noodles, naan bread, brick of cheese, small, like, look at the size of this thing. My hand is bigger than it. 2 apples, tomatoes, 2 cans of sauce, hazelnut creamer, pickles, Valentina's, aloe water, and 2 packs of these yogurt drinks for my kiddo. $74. And I'm a single dad, and luckily I have a good job. I can afford this. How the hell are people affording that when they make a fraction of what I do? This is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, this is just a bit of chicken and rice. I could just make this at home for so much cheaper. Okay, so I bought all the ingredients, I copied that recipe from the restaurant, and I've saved us so much money. Time to save money by cooking at home. So it's $5 for rice, $10 for chicken, $7 for sauce, and $8 for a few herbs. That's $30 for chicken and rice? Hi, yes there. Could I get the chicken and rice? I can't believe that's the same price as cooking at home. Remember a few years back when you'd go...
I don't understand how I make $34 an hour.
This video is absolutely gut-wrenching. Go watch her whole video, and she is being so raw in her emotions on her frustrations about the fact that she makes $34 an hour, which isn't a bad wage, and simply can't make ends meet. She talks about the fact that she has to buy a loaf of bread and eat toast with peanut butter and make one loaf of bread last her a whole week. I feel like so many Canadians are struggling beyond words right now, and it's just absolutely gut-wrenching. So she talks about the fact that she owns a home and her mortgage is coming up for renewal, and she's terrified, right? Because interest rates have skyrocketed and she has no idea how she's going to be able to afford the increase in her mortgage payments. So there are a few things that you could do in this situation. Now, I don't know her situation specifically, but if you own a home and you have some equity in your home, there are potential solutions. You can look at doing a refinance, which means using the equity in your home. When you do a refinance, you can take the equity out of your home to pay off other debts. Now, there are a lot of debts out there, say vehicle loans that are at higher interest rates, lines of credit, credit card debt that is at higher interest rates than what our mortgages would be. So overall, you do pay less in interest. And at the same time, you can improve your cash flow. She could also look at extending out her amortization. So, for example, if you had 12 years left on your mortgage, you can look at extending it to 25 or 30 years, which will counteract that increase in the interest rates and make your monthly payment more manageable. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to say, I don't want my mortgage to be another 25 or 30 years, and I fully understand that. But when it comes to only being able to eat peanut butter for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with toast, how is that for your health? You know, you do have to consider so many things outside of what might make the best sense. So by extending your amortization out, you can still pay additional money down. So if you were to get to a place where your monthly debt obligations are now manageable, you're probably going to be able to sleep better at night. If you can eat healthy, nutritious food, I mean, that's just going to help your mood and help you get on with every day. So when you do get on top or back on top of things, you can look to pay additional money down on your mortgage every month to get your amortization back down to a point that you're satisfied with. But it will get you through those tough times if need be. The bottom line is there are always options. Instead of feeling so defeated and overwhelmed, you can reach out, contact people, find out what options you have. Sometimes in life it takes a step back in order to be able to take some steps forward, and that's life. It's not all roses and unicorns, unfortunately. But knowledge is power, and just knowing what your options are, talking to people, you never know what might help you. So if you do own a home and you're feeling the way that this woman is feeling, reach out to a mortgage broker. It doesn't cost you a thing. And they can let you know if there are any options for you. I mean, at least you're trying to do something about it.
B-boys want to know what it's like living in New Zealand. Let me show you. Budget cheese, nuggets, dip, chips, and an OJ. $34.
So I'm sitting outside of Woolies waiting for it to open, and I'm thinking about the cost of living crisis and inflation and the fact that my rent has gone up and so have all of my bills, and like I literally can't afford to live, and I have a full-time job on a salary, so I don't know how some people are doing it, but I thought I'd tell you some of the things that I've had to give up because of the cost of living increases. So the first thing I've had to give up is eating. I can't afford to buy any of the foods that I like. I can't buy fruit. I can't buy snacks. I can't buy myself a cheeky Red Bull. What's that about? My fiance and I had to bulk buy meat from a butcher and keep it in the freezer. And I don't even like eating meat. I don't enjoy eating meat. But that's what I'm eating. Meat with rice and pasta. The second thing I've had to give up is buying clothes. I can't even afford to look at a clothing store. I've lost a lot of weight recently and none of my clothes fit me, but I have to wear the outfits I already have on rotation and I don't even like them. But that's what I have to do. The third thing I've given up is being a Swiftie. 1999 Taylor's version's coming out and I can't afford to buy any of the vinyls, which really is hurting my little vinyl collector heart. But Taylor, what are you doing? Sell them for $1. Like, it's expensive here in Australia. The fourth thing I've given up is being happy.
Victoria's debt levels are set to soar even higher than predicted by the Andrews government. A top global credit agency is estimating it will hit $226 billion, $60 billion more than forecast in the state budget just months ago.
Victoria's debt is expected to balloon out further than the government predicts. Global credit agency Moody's estimates that in 3 years, state debt will be $226 billion, $64 billion more than the net debt forecast in the May state budget. That's $80,000 debt for every Victorian household.
We have a net debt that is bigger than New South Wales, Queensland and Tasmania combined.
Moody's analysts used a whole-of-government approach, including statutory bodies such as water authorities, the TAC and the state's insurer.
And as I understand it, Moody's have on that report have used a different accounting method to what is used and has been used for a long time now in the budget processes.
As for what method is better,
Moody's for sure. You've always got to look at the whole picture.
They're all part of it. It's all what we have to pay for.
By international standards, Victoria has far less debt than many other countries. But compared to other Australian states in a volatile world, it has far less wriggle room to endure future economic shocks.
$15 million a day, each and every day, just to service that debt.
That could end up costing Victorian households.
Some combination of taxes going up, spending going down, or charges to families for using stuff will have to go up more in Victoria than you would see elsewhere.
Emma O'Sullivan, 7 News.
People want their fucking $25 an hour to do this shit.
Well, the wage slaves got my order wrong, so I believe they deserve to live in a cardboard box.
I'm sorry, but when did it start costing $1 million to live in today's day and age? Look, I normally never complain about this stuff because I'm a travel nurse and I get free accommodation and a higher salary. But I don't get annual leave, I don't get sick leave, so when I'm not working, I notice it. And so far it's been fine. I have had 2 months off. I've just had 3 weeks unpaid placement and I still have another month off because I don't have a contract lined up yet. And so I don't feel like I have any reason to complain. But when the cost of bread is $4.50, that's fucked. I know it's so silly because it's like, oh my gosh, I'm complaining about the cost of bread. And then how much was milk? Let me check the milk was. This isn't even for me. I'm buying this for my niece and my nephew and like my sister because I'm staying at theirs. So I bought them some stuff for dinner as well. Okay, so milk was $4.50 and bread was $4.40. Because I don't drink normal. I don't really drink milk. I usually just have like packet sachets for the coffee, like there's milk powder in that, so I never really need milk. And then I got some Kievs, which were reasonably cheap. I got 9 for $11. Bananas, $3 for 3. And then I got some sushi, and that was it. But then it came to $40.30 for 6 things. I got some garbage bags as well. So yeah, all of that cost me nearly as much as I make in 1 hour. And for someone with like a normal paying job, that's more than what they would earn in 1 hour. Like the cost of living is just fucked, to be honest. I really don't know how people are surviving with children, with other dependents. Like, it's a lot.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, renting in Australia, we have just paid over $6,000 to move into this house, and the builder did not finish the wiring when the house was built. Our property manager is saying that it's actually up to us and that the property wasn't even marketed with internet, so we shouldn't be expecting internet. I guess what I should be expecting is the actual wiring that the builder was supposed to do to the NBN box out on the street. Can someone please let me know if we're meant to be doing the actual construction of the property when we move into it and pay $6,000? I must have missed that when I signed the fucking lease.
That extra streaming subscription going to that fancy dinner.
So, here's the issue with that. If 60 to 70% of Americans, which is what the current rate is, live paycheck to paycheck, not debating how they got there, but that's just how it is for this country. If you're saying that the way to save money is to stop buying lattes, is to stop your Netflix subscription, is to stop going out to dinner. What happens when, let's say, 35% of the country follows your advice? What happens to Starbucks? Does their stock stay the same when they have a 35% drop in revenue? Same with Netflix, restaurants, the restaurant industry. Do they start laying people off? So we've just compounded a problem here? Maybe what we should be worrying about is making sure that wages keep up with inflation.
Taking blame for inflation? No.
Why not?
Because it was already there when I got here, man. Jobs were hemorrhaging, inflation was rising, we weren't manufacturing a damn thing here. That's why I don't.
Alright, Dad, tell the people what you just told me.
I just bought a 17-pound watermelon that was $32.20. When I was a kid, they were 8 cents a pound. That would have been about $1.50.
So this is the price of a 17-pound watermelon in Hawaii. $33 for a watermelon! Are you for real? A watermelon? A live in this time, and I'm sorry for everybody else that has to live in this time. This is ridiculous.
That's it. I can no longer afford to live on this planet. I just went to Target and spent $20 on 4 items. What are those 4 items you say? Coffee creamer, wipes, clearance, napkin, and a washcloth. $20 for all that. $5 a piece it came out to. Guys.
My Walmart curbside orders were all under $200 in 2021, so let's look at the items and see what they would cost today. Butter was $5.12, now it's $7.58. Fiesta blend cheese for 80 ounces was $5.34. The romaine, $2.44. That cheese is $17.68 today. At that price, you'll hardly notice the romaine's 60% more. I used to really like these. So tasty. I won't pay this much. I just don't buy these anymore. Flour has gone up in price, but not as bad as some of the other items. You can buy your own seasonings to save some money at home, but when the price of thyme doubles, you consider putting it in the garden yourself now this summer. My husband loves Hidden Valley Ranch. It went from $3.48 to $5.28. Want to make some s'mores? Graham crackers were only 87 cents in 2021. $1.98. You used to be able to pop in a freezer pizza for $5. I guess those days are gone.
If you're homeless, just buy a house.
Here are 5 people who have no business complaining about inflation. While the cost of living is rising at rates that we haven't seen in decades, there are certain people who clearly have enough money based on their spending habits and have no business complaining about the cost of living. Number 1, we have people who eat out more than 3 times per week. This includes fast food. It is far cheaper to prepare food at home. Even with the rising cost of groceries, it's still cheaper. If you're going out to get food all the time, you're just lazy. Number 2 is people who smoke or vape. If you're spending money to inhale a gas that you don't need in order to live, you clearly have enough money to pay for the increasing cost of necessities. Don't give me this nonsense about how addictive it is. No one put a gun to your head and forced you to start. This outcome is a product of the decisions that you made. Accountability is everything. There are tons of quit programs offered by state governments. If you're unwilling to try this for the sake of saving money, then you choose to do it and you choose to waste money. Don't blame other people for this problem that you're creating yourself. Number 4, we have people who use credit cards to buy concert tickets, and they still haven't paid it off. Looking at you, Swifties. If you opened up a new credit card in order to buy those tickets, or you put them on your credit card and you still haven't paid them off, means that you're wasting money on things that you don't need. And more importantly, you're pissing away a bunch of money on credit card interest. If you can afford all of this credit card interest, it means that you definitely have money in order to pay for the increased cost of living. You just choose to allocate it in other places. Making this a choice. Make better choices before you blame other people. And last but not least, people who bought fireworks for New Year's Eve. You literally lit your money on fire. You clearly have enough money in order to pay for necessities. People who are truly broke can't light their money on fire. Accountability is everything when it comes to your finances. Taking ownership of the results that you're getting in life is something that we learn in elementary school. Don't ever forget that. The choice is yours. Choose wisely.
Let me tell you something. When I be complaining about food prices, and y'all motherfuckers be like, "Ain't you rich? Why you complaining about lettuce? Why you complaining about this?" That just goes to show me when you become successful, when you have money, you're gonna go broke soon because y'all not budgeting. I get a summary of the money that's being spent in my home every week. So when I'm starting to see that like groceries is like tripling up, it's like, hey, yo, what the fuck is going on? I want to see for myself what the fuck shit is being spent on. And, like, when I go to the fucking supermarket, like, I went to the supermarket, I'm seeing that everything tripled up. That, like, lettuce was, like, $2 a couple of months ago, and now it's, like, fucking $7. Of course I'm going to say something.
Breaking news. The inflation report just came in, and you're going to want to listen to this. The market was expecting 3.6% for the CPI, and it came in at 3.7%, coming in higher than expected. This is the second month in a row that inflation has been ticking back up. This is already increasing the odds of an interest rate hike in November, with investors now expecting a 55% chance of another 25 basis point rate hike.
So I live in Edmonton, Alberta, and I've lived here my entire life, okay? So that's almost 40 years. And in 40 years, I have never seen this before. This is it is so bad in our city that this is how fucking people are living. Like, it is so disgusting. It's so sad. Like, aren't we supposed to be the richest province in Canada? I don't understand how the fuck this looks like this. Like, I'm sorry, but this is fucking heart-wrenching. And I have never seen this in the history. Like, I've seen a couple of these, one or two, but not to this degree. And these, you know, they're popping up everywhere. And this is just, yeah, look for yourself. There is a tent city that is downtown. And this is a part of a parking lot. And I'm telling you, I've just never seen it this bad before. And these aren't, you know, junkies and people that are sitting there trying to, you know, do stupid shit. Like, these are, I've talked to a couple of the people that were there because I didn't want them to get mad at me filming. And these are not people that belong in there. They really don't. I just don't understand how the fuck it's gotten this bad. How are we allowing this? Like, good job, sheeps. Happy that Trudeau is what you love so much. You guys must be so proud. Maybe your vaccines can give them a new house. Just saying.
Anybody else think it's like fucking asinine to see all these buildings and all these apartment complexes being built? It's like, okay, first of all, nobody can afford to move into those places, and there's a lot of apartment buildings that are vacant, that are brand new, that are vacant. And this one is like, I see them all over the city I live in, and it's just like, that's just going to be another one that's vacant. And then at the bottom of them, they have commercial spots where you can rent and open up your business. But people can't afford that rent to run a business. So it's like, it's just a giant fucking building taking up space that priced people out of the homes that were there before, just to erect a giant building that's completely vacant just to take up space. It's like, you guys are just building shit for no reason. And it's fucking up the traffic in the city. And when I drive by and I see that it's just another commercial building, it's just another building that has a bunch of vacant homes in it, like, it's pointless.
Okay, it happened. I had to come to the grocery store. I was actually coming for bread because my kids were not interested in eating the giant, thick, heavy loaf of bread I tried to make, which I do not blame them. But then Jessica brought me bread, like in part of those bags that I posted earlier. So I don't have to get bread, which is amazing, but I do have to get a couple other things. So I have like 2 really good coupons expiring. I have to. Don't worry. Still gonna make all videos cooking out his fridge and pantry. We're gonna have to modify a little bit. Still gonna be using what we have and at the lowest possible. Okay, remember how the rice mix is that any
The fuck, man?
big free. Can't pass.
We? Who's we? There is no we.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but outside costs a minimum of $300. Stay your ass home, okay? Stay home.
So I went to buy chlorine today, and you used to be able to get 2 gallons in a box for like $4 something. It's now $17 for 2 gallons of chlorine. Catch me swimming in my swamp, guys, because I have no clue how the hell people are going to afford this.
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
I can't be the only one.
At this point, I promise y'all, I'm about to start eating out. $47.28. All vegetables. This is not even meat. Not even meat. I'm damned if I eat vegetables. I'm damned if I eat meat. The struggle is real. Woo!
So I'm walking around Costco here and I'm noticing these prices. For example, these mattress lentils, $15.99. I bought those a year ago for $6.99. I keep getting told that we got 6-7% inflation. You gotta be kidding me. Let's look at what else we got going on here. We literally bought this chicken broth $5.69 2 months ago. Dang, this is the flour we were buying for $5.99 last year.
See the timeline? The timeline. See the timeline? The timeline.
So if you think that the interest rates are not hurting vehicle sales, you look at these vehicles, they've been here a while, they're all dusty. We saw them a couple of months ago and thought it was just some big fleet purchase. I mean, look at that, folks. This goes on and on behind me, too. These vehicles are not moving. These are new vehicles. Clearly, there's something not right here. These aren't all under recall, maybe a couple of them, but not all these. So, folks, look at that dust. They've been here forever. There's something not right, and there are a lot of dealerships like this right now.
So I just got back from the grocery store. Okay. I live in the middle of Oklahoma. Literally, the middle of Oklahoma is where I live. Okay. I'm going to show you what I bought and I'm going to tell you how much I spent on it. And then I want you to see why I'm broke. This is what I got. Okay. I got 2 things of crescent rolls, a thing of country crock, a thing of Velveeta, value size macaroni and cheese, and a gallon of milk. Guess how much I spent on that? $28.47. Can you see that? Can you see the $28.47? $28.47 on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. $30 on 6 items. We're a family of 6. And I bought basic items and spent $30. I bought no meat. I bought nothing to make an actual meal out of. Like, seriously, I just got macaroni and cheese and some crescent rolls and some milk and butter. Literally, like, $30. And it's not even a meal. I fucking hate it.
I want to know how much groceries cost in your area, how much food it'll buy you, and how long it'll last. This is my receipt. I spent $99.39, and it got me 36 items. And of course, I forgot to bring my own bag, so I had to buy 4 bags that cost 40 cents. And I bought 5 bell peppers, 3 ears of corn, a bag of organic carrots, 2 packs of blackberries, a pack of blueberries, baby bella mushrooms, cheese, butter, yogurt, peanut butter and jelly, cream cheese, some yogurt for the kids, 2 loaves of bread, 2 gallons of milk, more cheese, popsicles, some candy, and some salad mix. I got some ground turkey and a pizza. I currently have 6 people in my household right now that are going to eat this, and this will last, combined with a few things that I already have at home, about 3 days. The candy and the popsicles will probably be gone tonight.
This is what $137 worth of like personal care items and a couple random things looks like in 2023. This is literally all we got, guys, and it looks like more because I spaced it out to be aesthetic. But it's really not much. Like, what is... Seriously, $137 for soap, deodorant, toothpaste, hydration, and toothbrushes. And coffee. What is this?
So, economists are putting the odds of a recession beginning by July 2024 between anywhere from 50 to 60%. And we just heard that Goldman Sachs, which is one of the big banks, put the odds at a recession at only 20% in the next 12 months, lowering their estimate from 25% to 20%. I think it's probably closer to 50%, but we'll see.
Do y'all see this shit? Do you see that? $60.64. Do you see that? Do you see what I got? Some hot dogs. Boom. Milk. Boom. Some wipes for my ass. Some baked beans. What's really going on? Sugar. Okay?
What we doing? Why we talking about baked beans?
Why you in my video? Now I gotta start over. You always in something. Shut up. This really hurts my feelings, y'all. Look at this. This says Publix, okay? Publix, okay, yeah, I know Publix is expensive, but it's across the street from my house, and I'm not going around the world so I can go get some better prices. I'm just not finna do it, okay? It's across the street. But anyways, look at this. Hot dogs, $10.99. Milk, $4.59. Dude wipes for my ass, $9.99 for something I'm going to flush down the toilet, okay? $7.65 for some broccoli, some baked beans, $2.99 a can, some sugar for $3.49, and some potatoes for dinner tomorrow. That's the real insane one. $11.22 for 6 potatoes. Fucking potatoes, okay? This is ridiculous. So yeah, when is this uproar going? What are you doing? It's not live. When are we gonna like resist? Okay? When are we gonna like cut a fool? Okay? Like really? Like when are we gonna quote unquote what you called it earlier? Paint the town red. When the hell we gonna paint the town red? Because this don't make no motherfucking sense. This don't make no fucking sense. $60 for this. $60. $60. $60. $60. Okay? Oh, look at this. This is what I got. Look at this.
Guys, I don't know how the average American is making it right now because from the looks of it, things are just going to hell. For example, if you want to rent an apartment, the landlord wants proof of income 3 times the rent. And out here in northern New Jersey, that means a 1-bedroom, you got to be making 30 to 50% more than the national average. The groceries have gone up like crazy. It's like, it seems like it keeps creeping up ever so slightly, but after 3-4 months, you feel like it's you feel the increase. Because last year, I would be shopping for myself alone, twice a week, and it would run me about $80 each trip. Now it's costing me like 125 to 140 per trip. And when I include going out maybe once or twice a week to eat, my total for food is coming out to be crazy. It's over $1,000. And I know it wasn't like that growing up, you know, it's gotten out of hand. But people are walking around like nothing's wrong, everything's fine, everything's dandy. But it won't be long before people are gonna have to decide whether to pay the rent, pay the mortgage, or feed their families. And of course, people are gonna choose to feed their families. And so, who knows what's gonna happen? But I was at the mall the other day and it was pretty packed. But there wasn't really that many people holding bags. It was just people hanging around window shopping, which doesn't mean squat. It just means people want to get out of their houses and hang around, maybe eat at the food court. And the food court was popping, of course. But we're going to have to wait and see. I foresee a lot more shoplifting, a lot of stores going out of business because of that. And there's going to be a lot of break-ins, a lot of cars being stolen, a lot of parts being stolen, wheels, catalytic converters, which is already happening, but it's going to, like, you know, more and more people are going to want to do it because they have no other way. More and more people are going to turn to scamming and stealing and all that stuff because things have gotten so expensive. So we'll see. What's the solution? The only solution is for the banks and the Federal Reserve to forgive all debt. That's the only way. There's no other solution. Even if we took 20 nations to war and gave them money to buy from us, it still wouldn't help the situation.
That's not what they're gonna do. They're not gonna do that.
5 scary things that always happen when an economy collapses. Even in an economic stronghold like the United States, the possibility of economic collapse looms large. Now let's get into it. Number 1, kidnappings increase. Countries that experience an economic collapse typically see a spike in kidnappings as well. Kidnapping a person of wealth and demanding a ransom is one way for desperate people to acquire money when no other means of acquiring money are available. Number 2, pets go missing. Even if you can't afford to continue feeding your pets during an economic collapse, there is still no guarantee that they will be safe. Few people have the skills or resources to hunt wild animals when food is scarce. Domesticated animals, however, make for much easier targets. Hospitals become overcrowded. Due to factors such as no garbage pickups, unclean drinking water, the spread of disease, inability to afford medications, and a spike in violent crimes, people tend to visit hospitals much more frequently during an economic collapse. Interstate trucking would halt. Factors such as an oil embargo or massive increases in robberies could grind interstate trucking to a halt in the event of an economic collapse. Unable to rely on trucks for transportation, stores would quickly run out of food and other essential supplies, leaving people who do not have their own stored up with few options for survival. Martial law is enacted. In an attempt to curb some of the violence and chaos that ensues after an economic collapse, the government will likely enact martial law and turn over the governance of the people to the police and military. In no way does this make life safer in extremely desperate times. And that is exactly why we should talk about...
Is it time to move out of Florida? Some Florida residents have started to leave the state because Florida has become more expensive. In places like Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, they're getting even more expensive. And this is due to the fact that people in places like California and New York are moving from there to move here because Florida is less expensive. And also interest rates are still going up. In fact, interest rates are the highest they've been in the last 20 years. Now, while all this is going on, people like Robert Kiyosaki are saying that there's a chance that there's going to be a real estate crash. Let me know what you guys think in the comments and follow me from our videos.
So my husband called me today on the way home from work and he asked me how much we were spending on groceries this year compared to last year and the year before. I told him I had no clue, but I could find out. I placed all of our orders either on Instacart or on Walmart Plus. Since the month of September is not all the way over, I decided to go back to August for year 21, 22, and 23 to compare the difference. In 2021, we did not have a Walmart Plus membership, so I was only ordering from Instacart, and the total that I spent was $746.55. In August of 22, I also did not have a Walmart Plus membership. I joined in September, the month after this. Our groceries went from $746.55 to $1,493.08. This year, I do have a Walmart Plus membership, so I placed orders on both Instacart and Walmart Plus with a total of $1,650.92. Mind you, this is just the month of August for 21, 22, and 23, but our groceries have over doubled.
That's above my pay grade.
No, inflation's getting out of hand. When you go to your local mall and you see ads for Klarna plastered all over the place, it's really bad knowing that people have to finance just to make a fucking $60 shoe purchase at Foot Locker.
At this point, I think we might be living at our in-laws' house until, we get old and gray. Because the housing market is absolutely ridiculous. It's so sad because back in the day, you were able to just go to school, get a good job, get married, be able to buy a house, start a family, and possibly be able to stay part-time at home even with the children to help raise them. Now it's like, no, you get married, where are you living? Maybe we're going to live in a shoebox. Maybe we're going to be homeless living on the street. Because why is a one-bedroom, one-bath like $800,000? Like, I'm just trying to wrap my head around how things are going right now, because it's like, it's pretty hopeless for this generation, for us.